This is the Crowdcrux Crowdfunding Podcast with Sal Briggman, where we cover everything you need to know to launch a successful crowdfunding campaign. We speak with proven entrepreneurs who've raised money from the crowd and want to teach you how to do the same. Stay tuned because we're about to reveal how to launch your dream project with your host, Sal Briggman.
Before we get started with this podcast episode, I want to take a second to introduce you to my friends at Fulfillrite. If you need help shipping out your Kickstarter or Indiegogo perks or rewards, Fulfillrite is the absolute best company for you. I've been working with them for a while and I can vouch for their services. They make it dead simple and take all of the headache out of shipping out all of those boxes, all of those orders to your backers and your customers. If you want to check them out, go to fulfillrite.com at FULFILLRITE.com. What up, crowdfunders? Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. I've missed you. It's been a week since I've last talked with you. I hope you've been having a good week so far. My week has not been that great just because I've been having a cold, so if my voice sounds weird on this podcast episode, it's because I have a cold, and I also didn't have access to my great microphone, so it sounds a little bit wonky again for today's podcast. But today's podcast, this is an example of an entrepreneur, or I guess a team rather, that raised money successfully from somewhere outside of the United States. They launched a campaign from France. They raised over $100,000 on Kickstarter from more than 1,600 backers for this really cool machine. I'll let them tell you a little bit more about it. That kind of just is delightful. It's something fun to play with. It's a cool book. It's kind of a bunch of different things in one. And with this episode, I really want you to listen to some of the advice and tips that this entrepreneur has shared with us, because they were very generous. They really shared a look behind the hood of what you have to do if you want to successfully raise money with crowdfunding. So if you've been wondering, you've been looking to launch a project, I think you're going to like today's episode. In addition, if you haven't already, I really rely on the Amazon reviews from you guys in order to determine how well I'm doing with the show, things I can improve on, what you like about it. I would love it if you could take a second, if you're on your smartphone right now, take 5 seconds, take 10 seconds to leave an Amazon review for this podcast. And if you haven't already, while you're still there, hit that subscribe button so get notifications when new episodes come out. And finally, I have a few projects in the works that you'll be hearing about in the upcoming weeks. But if you do want to stay up to date with some of my newer content, some of the videos I'm making, some of the blog posts I have coming out, some of the new announcements, you can go to crowdcrux.com/subscribe. That's my weekly newsletter that I send out with crowdfunding advice and tips, which you can access at crowdcrux.com/subscribe. I hope you enjoy today's podcast episode. Agnes, I want to welcome you to the podcast. Looking forward to talking about this really neat product that your team has created. It's very ingenious, innovative. I'm actually going to let you tell the viewers a little bit more about it, but welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. And hi, everybody. I guess I have to. Well, it's been quite a surprising adventure for the past few weeks, but it's been a long adventure. We've been working on papier machine for 3 years now, and it started as a student project. So it's come a long way. It was Raphael's student project at the beginning, and through opportunities to opportunities, we've come to this great new adventure. It's starting. It's a new one, and we're very glad that it's been so
doing really well. It's been doing really well. You've raised over $130,000 from almost 2,000 backers, like 1,600 backers. So people have really loved this project. You still have 6 days to go on Kickstarter. So this is the papier. I'm totally pronouncing this wrong. Papier machine. How do I say it correctly?
Papier. Papier machine. Yes, but you can say it as the way you want. Actually, we want everybody to say in the way they prefer the way the art is. So no worries, I'm not trying. I won't say you're saying bad. You're saying it's not correct. You can say whatever.
Okay, well, thank you. That's nice of you. Could you explain, I guess, to someone who's listening to this show what this is? Because it's an ingenious product. It's very lively. It's almost entertainment, a book. It has a lot of things in one product. Can you explain what this is or who might use this type of a project?
Yeah, well, the idea was at the beginning, we wanted to make people understand that arts, electronics, publishing and design, all the fields included in papier machine, they are not all living in parallel, but they can meet actually. And we wanted this product to prove it. So papier machine, it's a book, but it's not only a book. It's more than a book. It's a toy. It's a paper toy. It's a tool for people to understand. And if I have to get more precise, it's a book that includes 6 electronic paper toys. So they are already pre-cut. So you just need to assemble it, fold it, and play with them to understand, not exactly understand, but at least see the electronic effects.
Okay. So it's kind of like a way to learn about electronics. It's also a way to celebrate electronics, I feel like. And also it's just a lot of fun. Like it looks like so much fun to be able to play with this.
Well, it's the first thing we wanted to provide to people. We want people to have fun and to want to understand electronics. They won't understand electronics with papier machine, but they will stimulate their curiosity, want to understand. They will desire more, actually. They should be desiring more if they play with papier machine. They will just have fun. Papier machine will reveal the effects that basic effects, actually. So you don't realize, but your phone, your mobile phone, it has so many electronic effects that you would like to understand, maybe, or that you're just feeling so curious about it, or you're just feeling I don't know how you say it in English, but
it kind of gets you interested in it a little bit, and also learning the mechanics behind it. And it's a fun way to learn, I think. Also, it's you're having a good time, so you're naturally going to learn as you're going. You mentioned also that this started as a project in university. That this sort of started 3 years ago. I think you said 2 years ago. Can you walk me through that? Like, was this a student project you were all working on? What role did you play in the campaign here, getting it to this point?
Me personally, or all three of us?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all three. Okay. Yeah, I guess you can go a little bit also into the team breakdown.
Yeah, we are 3 actually. The 2 designers of papier machine are Raphaël Plivinage and Marion Pinafo. They've been working on the project for 3 years now. Raphaël was the student working on it at the beginning, but Marion came really, really, really early in the project, and they decided to push it further when they got the opportunity to go to take up residency in New Zealand, first of all, and then they got awards. They were awarded by the Red Dot Design Award, then the Audi Talent Award, which was a really good opportunity because we needed to push further the electronic part, the printed part, and they found it really really specifically on that point, and they brought us to exhibit papier machine at the Musée des Arts Décoratifs in Paris. So it was a really, really complete experience through the Audi Talent Award. And it was the first time for us we exhibited papier machine for the first time to the public. So we first observed the effect of papier machine. We call it the papier machine effect, which is not really understandable by everybody, but we saw it. People are just smiling, or just adults and children can be touched by or moved by papier machine, because for adults it will remind them old games that they used to play with, and for young adults or young Yeah, for kids, they will just learn with someone, so they will interact. They will learn through their fathers or grandfathers' experiences, and they can just have fun all together. Well, we try to
cater. I guess it sort of caters to those both groups, where if you are an adult, it's going to be a lot of fun to play with your friends, or just to have it also maybe with your significant other, even just by yourself looking through this book. And also, if you have a child, you have a kid, being able to play with the kid, being able to teach them a little bit about electronics, doing something together. It just makes you smile. Also, like the vibrant colors that you've included in the book, it just kind of brings like a smile and kind of reminds you of your childhood, I think, a little bit, as you're looking at it.
Yeah, and it's actually a nice book. Actually, you can even have it because it's beautiful and just go through it without playing with it. You can have papier mâché the way you want it to be. You can make whatever you want to with this book, toy book. We say in French toy book, but it would be livre objet, livre jouet, and we hope we'll receive many testimonies about people just making it them.
Making it
I don't know how to. Well, their own, yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask you a little bit about you launching this project, because not only are you a creator, are you making these incredible products and this amazing artwork that also includes electronics, etc. You also had to learn about the mechanics of launching a campaign on Kickstarter.
Yes.
You hit your goal within the second day. It did really well in the first week, continued to soar up there and get pledges and donations. What happened in that first 3-day period when you actually went live on Kickstarter?
The first 3 days, well, everything happened at the exact opposite of what we had predicted. But maybe I should go 3 days before, because we had planned so well our campaign. We had messages, we had Facebook and social media posts and everything, and social media materials, and we never used them. We thought, but we had in mind that it could have happened like this, but we couldn't believe it would have happened like this. We were fully funded in 30 hours, and we thought we had in mind that we had to get 30% of the campaign in the first 3 days. I don't know in what sense you say it, but we did it the first night, so it was just perfect. So, but at the same time, we were just surprised and a bit panicked, I have to say, because we had to deal with the fact that we will have to produce more, and it's the first time that we will have to produce papier mâché industrially. So
you have to make 1,600 of them. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it brings the stress you will have after the campaign, but it's mixed with the positive surprise and the positive feelings you have, because it means that your product works and that people were just expecting it. So it's perfect. We couldn't expect a better start.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's incredible. So what actually then what were you planning that didn't go correctly? You had the social media posts and all of these different things. Was it just you raised more than you thought? Or did something else happen? Like, were these people coming from Kickstarter itself? Were they coming from your email list? Where were these people discovering the campaign?
We had different channels. The first was a personal channel. We had a mailing list that we had constituted, and it was about 2,000 people. From the three of us, so personal people that we knew, that were close or a bit less close. So we emailed them the first day, but we split. We emailed the first circle, the closest one, in morning really early, so they could be a bit privileged. But the thing is that we had also we had some deals, some early bird deals, super early bird deals that we had put online for them. The thing is that we had an article that was published at the same time. Well, it was so early. It's ICE, Make Magazine, that pushed it online in the morning, but really early that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the media that pushed the campaign further, I have to say. So we saw even before the launch, we had predicted to make at 11 a.m. to everybody. The campaign was already rising, and it was just unexpected. So we sent the email to them, to the second circle, the less closed circle, and to the list we had collected from our website, because the website was online 6 months ago. So we had collected emails through Facebook campaigns and so on. The classical ways of collecting emails as instructed on CrowdCrux. So we launched that as well, and we also had another channel which was with partners. We had several partners that were supposed to help us, but during the campaign we didn't expect them to send emails to their list on that first day, and some of them did, included Circuit Scribe, that I have to mention because they really helped, which is a partner that really fit to Papier Machine's target, if I have to say, but Papier Machine's people. So they sent it to their previous backers. They had 2 campaigns in the past, and they sent it on that same day. So that helped a lot. But it wasn't predicted again. It was supposed to come later on, because we had in mind that we had to maintain the campaign in the middle of the campaign. There was written everywhere that the campaign would be dying, and that we had to find ways to push it, to give it another breath. And so that trick was passed. But it helped, actually. So Unpredictable helped a lot during that campaign. We had several media featurings as well that helped a lot. It's like that. Colossal. This is Colossal. Wasn't expected.
Very cool. That's a lot of great stuff. So it seems like
I'm sorry if I'm confused, but
oh no, I was just letting you go on, because that's a great information there. That's a ton of awesome stuff you were doing. So you had the email list, you had media that was going out there, you had partners that were sending out emails. And I assume also people from Kickstarter were checking it out. So you had a lot of different channels where people were discovering this campaign within the first 3 days. So I think you really did your homework there. Also, thank you for mentioning my blog there. If that was at any help to you with your project, I really appreciate that as well.
No, but really, because I think I spent at least accumulated a week on your website. So there is material on your website. But I also forgot to mention something, because we had the help of Kickstarter as well. And I think this is also a great point. We met them last summer after we had been to the Musée des Arts Décoratifs in Paris, and they supported the project because they liked it. So, and I think this was kind of privileged. So they put it in front page on their website for a while. They even mentioned it in their newsletter. I think they did it several times, but I'm not sure. They were here to coach, and I think you do not have to hesitate to ask them before launching if they can advise you or see your preview, check out your preview page. Sorry.
Okay. So were you directly working with them? Like, were they giving you advice and such, or how was that working?
Well, the reality was that our planning, our schedules were not really matching, so we didn't manage to connect the last week, but we were supposed to. But they've been great advisors way before the campaign, so I can include that part. And during the first days of the campaign, they were really, really useful, and they helped a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think one should not hesitate to ask. I think they're just interested in any project, so you just have to try to find the right contact design, or they are categorized as well. So you just have to find the right content that they will be happy to help.
I had to interrupt this podcast episode because I want to introduce you to my friends at The Gadget Flow. Their product discovery platform reaches 22 million people per month. They've helped more than 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns thus far, and they have a social media following of more than 700,000 followers. If you want to gain access to their marketplace and list your own product, you can go to thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today.
And for someone that doesn't or isn't familiar with Kickstarter, did you just reach out to someone that works there, or is there a specific place on their website where you went to, like their support or their help center? How did you get in contact with them?
They got in contact with us last summer through our website. And I think the best way would be to try to contact them through. We did a lot like this, but through LinkedIn, or you just have to go by yourself. If you pass through the website, if you go through the website, maybe you will be blocked, or I don't know. But there are so many other ways. Contacts, networking, and LinkedIn is just a
good solution there. How did they actually find out about you and your project then? How did they stumble on your website and come to find you?
Last summer, we were already planning on crowdfunding. We didn't know which platform we would use, but we were planning on crowdfunding anyway. And the thing is that we needed the fund to produce papier machine. Banks, all the investors didn't want us, so we needed to find the funds. So that was the idea. But we couldn't launch on any platform without having how do you call them, legitimacy?
Yeah, credibility.
Yeah, credibility. So we tried to make first media coverage, to get a first media coverage, and we got featured in Dizine. So we just launched a press release, and we tried to contact the media, and the Musée des Arts Décoratifs in Paris helped a lot. The Red Dot Design Award and the Audi Talent Award also. So we reached out to some important media in design, and they read about us like this, and they just contacted us.
Wow, that's really smart. You basically were building up your brand before going on to Kickstarter, and as a result, they actually discovered you. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. And only Kickstarter did that. We didn't have any contact by Indiegogo or other platforms or any. But the thing is that it was a bet, because when we launched on January 16th, those media didn't want to cover papier machine. So we asked ourselves, when do we need the most those media to cover us, to talk about us? And I think if some of them had covered a bit in January, it would have been better. But it all helped. It's good that it happened like this, and we got funded in the end, so it's perfect. But we had some messages from some of them, some of these media that just said, well, we already talked about you, and it was not even 6 months ago, so sorry.
Yeah.
But maybe talk to you again next summer when you launch, or well, it's another step, and we will see. But it was a bet at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. That's really good information there. I think too, one of the things I leave out on my website is the fact that you're going to lose so much sleep when you do a Kickstarter campaign that you should really stock up on that and sleep a good 12 hours the day before you launch, because it is just such a long process, and it does require so much stamina doing one of these projects. So congratulations to you for having made it this far. Because I know it's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's exciting. So even though you're just feeling tired, you can't let the fatigue, the tyrant. How do you say it? La fatigue.
Yeah,
the fatigue.
Yeah.
You don't let it invade you, and it's all good in the end.
I'm speaking to the crowdfunders in the audience who have already launched a Kickstarter campaign, or have actually even successfully run a campaign. And the reason is, I think you will understand this pain point most. And that is, when you finally do raise money on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, the hardest part is not collecting the cash. The hardest part is shipping out all of those perks and rewards to your backers. It is a nightmare, my friends. It's a lot of spreadsheets, it's a lot of headache, and it's a lot of stress. That's why I recommend BackerKit. If you have not heard of BackerKit, they help you collect surveys, they help you collect data, and the entire fulfillment process is just so much easier and so many less spreadsheets when you use their software. You can check them out at backerkit.com and use CrowdCrux for a special discount.
I mean, you've been a great job responding to your community and also just putting together a really nice campaign, very inviting. I think you've done a great job with this project. I did notice, so I was looking over some of the questions I sent you, and one of the things that you said was that you wish, or that you would impart to others, to trust in their intuition more. What made you say that? What made you say that people should really keep in their account of their intuition and what they're sort of feeling related to their project?
Because we did read a lot about other campaigns or other crowdfunding campaigns, but we thought that our project was maybe talking to a mix of people that had never been talked to at once. Well, I don't know if I'm really clear. I'm sorry, but we needed to. We were convinced that we had to do it our own way as well. First thing that I didn't mention was that everybody's talking when you go through all the articles written about crowdfunding. Everybody says that you should make a soft launch and then a public launch. We tried to do it like this, but it didn't work. And in fact, we did a soft launch. I don't know if it's really smart to say it, but the night before launch, I have the impression that we cheated a lot, but I can't say that because it just helped a lot. But we didn't want people to see zero when they would go to our
campaign page.
Our campaign page. So we needed the closest. So we had 10 people in mind, each of us, and we just sent the link to the campaign the night before, and those people backed us. So even when we soft launched in the morning to the close people we have, there were already phones on the Kickstarter page.
Mm.
So I don't know if we did it a bit our way.
No, I like
We
that.
wanted.
Yeah, I think you did a
We
good way.
soft launched, but we soft launched as well, and
Yeah.
we didn't say it, but that was our way. And at the beginning, we were thinking, but are we just messing everything and everybody? But it worked, and
I think that's a
trust your intuition.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. A soft launch, you're basically rolling it out to people based on how interested they are. So first to the people that are most immediate interested, they're your friends or very tightly connected to you, then to people that are your friends, but just, for whatever reason that is closely tied, and then to people that, know you more generally. And in that way, when people come to the project, they're not seeing $0 pledge, they're already seeing some activity. So I think that's really smart that you went about it that way. And there are a lot of ways you can do a soft launch, but it's pretty clear you sort of made it your own with this project.
Yeah, a bit disorganized, but organized in the end. But we did it. Yeah,
Awesome.
That's why. Well, the thing that I wanted to say about intuition is that it's linked to the unpredictable as well. When you're launched, you just have to trust yourself, because otherwise you'll just panic.
Mm-hmm.
You'll just panic. You just do what you think is the best thing to do, and you just keep on, because keep on launching, keep on talking to people, because otherwise you will just be panicking.
Well said. Well, you still have 6 days to go here for the Papier Machine project. For those that are listening, that's PAPIERMACHINE volume 0. So you can check it out on Kickstarter there if you want to support it. It's a really cool project. Even just checking out the video, I think, would be awesome. You get a sense of what a great campaign video looks like, and also the attractive coloring and the design elements and all that kind of stuff. I did want to ask you, you have a little bit of experience here now where you've gone through the initial burst. You've had the mid-campaign slump, as a lot of people call it. You've had to experience that. Is there anything, looking back with this project, that you would do differently? Anything related to maybe looking into fulfillment partners or calculating costs differently, or even just marketing-wise, would you do anything differently? I want to ask you that question. I know hindsight is always 20/20, but I think that would be helpful. There could also, quite frankly, maybe you decide not to do anything different. Would love to ask you that question, though.
Yeah, yes, there is something that I would have done differently for the ads part. We were really we passed it, actually. We didn't make it really. We didn't do some Facebook ads and Instagram ads or any social media ads in a correct way. So we didn't track them well. So we don't have any idea of how many people come from social media. Well, we have it from Kickstarter, but they're not really accurate. And I think, when I came back to blogs and any article on that subject, I saw that you could how do you say, mettre en place? Uh-huh. You could organize it so it would be more accurate on Google Analytics, and we didn't. So we passed on it, but it's again, next time we will have other crowdfunding and we will see.
Awesome. Where can people go and check out your project and also your website? Where can they go and learn a bit about that?
From the first day following the Kickstarter campaign, papiermachine.io will be online, and it will be a new website in which you will be able to find everything you need to know about Papier Machine. So come and follow us, and we will give you some nice information about the product and how it goes until the shipping next summer.
Awesome. My last question for you is, what has been the most rewarding part of this project for you personally? I know you have a team that's working on this project, but for you, what has been the most rewarding aspect? What have you liked most about running this campaign that you look back on and sort of smile?
Personally, there are two things, if I can say.
Okay.
The first thing was to be able to be in contact with the people and see the first comments about papier machine, and nice comments, and the comments you were dreaming about, and you just had them. Some people just talked about just smiling at watching the video, and well, it was really nice being in touch with those people and being able to discuss about it. The second was to prove that we proved that we, Raphael, Marion, and I could do it, actually, because before the campaign there will be, before you launch a campaign, there will be so many people that will say, well, that's a lot of work. Are you sure you will make it? Are you sure you will be able to you will have the stamina to go through this and everything, and just don't trust them again. We had some close people saying this, and we just proved them that we could do it.
You proved it to them. I think you also proved it to yourself in a certain way, that you can take on this enormous project, you can rally the troops, and you can get this together. And you guys have been funded, have raised over 6 figures on Kickstarter. So I think you also proved it to everyone else out there as well.
Yeah, us first. Yeah, you're right, us first. Well, because we didn't believe it at the beginning. Well, the night before, we just couldn't believe.
Congratulations on all your success. It's been great talking with you. Look forward to watching your project. Thank you so much also for coming on the podcast and just sharing this great information with the audience. We will have to have you back.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified Podcast. Salvador Briggman here, hailing in from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. Hope you got a ton of value out of today's show. A lot of actionable tips and strategies, things that you can use, that you can apply to your crowdfunding campaign if you're trying to raise money on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I think this team was extremely forthcoming with what was working well for them. And now all you have to do is copy what's working, go out there, implement this with your own campaign, and you'll see a significant boost in your results. I've had many entrepreneurs who have been listening to this podcast, the same one that you are, come back on the show and say, hey, Sal, thank you so much for sharing those strategies. I actually used them and they worked. So if you go out there and you do actually take action on this education, you will see results. The same thing goes for my blog, the YouTube videos that I put out. They're all put out there so they can actually get you tangible results with your project. And finally, if you want to check out any more in-depth of my information, I have a book out there on Amazon that you can search called the Kickstarter Launch Formula that goes into many of the strategies that really work well on Kickstarter and with crowdfunding campaigns in general. That's a great book also if you're trying to raise money on Indiegogo. And finally, if you want to gain access to my weekly crowdfunding tips newsletter, I've been sending this thing out for years. I have subscribers on there who will hit me up and say, hey, Sal, I've been following you for 2 years. I'm just now launching my campaign. Thank you so much for sharing the information. I really try to send out good quality information to my subscribers. You can go to crowdcrux.com/subscribe, join the newsletter there. I'll start sending out a weekly newsletter to you. So that is crowdcrux.com/subscribe. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you next time.